I've been really on my own when I think about it. Yeah, my house is not a home when I think about it. I've been feeling so alone when I think about it. Yeah, nobody really got me when I think about it.
It's me, SimbaTv. Bang! What is good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Simba coming back here again with another reaction video for you guys today. For today's reaction video, we got ancient animals thought to be extinct were found on a lost island. You see, man? That's some more of that classified stuff they don't want us hearing about, man. Let's jump up in it.
Fangs, jaws, tentacles, sharp beaks. This is what Earth was like millions of years ago. It was a world of dangerous predators and cold-blooded killers. But could a human survive in the prehistoric jungle?
Nah. Don't believe it.
If a person found themselves in a prehistoric jungle inhabited by various extinct creatures, the hazards would await behind every bush. Even seeing the most harmless of them would be risky, like, for example, meeting the dodo bird. This bird is an ancient relative of pigeons, but its wings are too small for it to fly. Scientists believe this bird could only harm itself, but it's not true. This bird has very powerful legs, so if it noticed a person, Dodo would immediately catch up with them, and the size of its beak exceeds that of its descendant, pigeon, by 46 times. The wound from the attack of this prehistoric bird, of course, won't be fatal, but it'll be quite painful. Nonetheless, Dodo is not the worst thing a person could face there. For example, in the rainforest 23 million years ago, you could come across a monster of a much more impressive size, such as Platybelodon. It would not eat a human because this prehistoric elephant is an herbivore, and its frightening jaw is just a transition between the mouth and the trunk like its descendants have now. The tusks of Platybelodon are actually teeth, and they're sharp.
Bro, it's so crazy to think about the animals that we know now and that, we look at and we're like so curious about. Were freaking monsters back then. Like, they're monsters now, you feel me? But like, this elephant descendant, like, that's something straight out of a horror like movie, bro. Like, it looks terrifying. It look crazy.
So they can easily cut through tough vegetation and strip bark
Like, look
from
at that.
trees.
Look at
the
his
lower
skull.
tusks of Platybelodon were almost a meter long, but you should be afraid of its sharp tusks on the upper jaw. They're shortened and go forward and down. They could easily pierce through a person who would set foot on its territory. You would have no chance to escape. But the most terrible thing about the prehistoric forest is that there's a new danger everywhere you go. For example, these thickets could be a lair of the most giant monkey ever to exist, Gigantopithecus. The Gigantopithecus reached 3 meters, but this monster was also among the vegetarians. Scientists determined this by studying a well-preserved Gigantopithecus jaw. Even though its teeth were huge and covered with thick enamel, they had a relatively flat surface. These teeth were made only for chewing fruit and various vegetation. Nevertheless, the animal could easily hit very hard or even crush a person. After all, the weight of Gigantopithecus was as much as 300 kilograms. So, you must always be alert to survive in the prehistoric jungle. But at the same time, don't forget to watch your step. After all, in addition to the cutest Sardinian pika, or the colorful golden toad in the swamps, you could stumble upon someone really scary. During the Pleistocene period, you could come across a giant reptile, Quincana, near water reserves in the jungle. A person doesn't even need to try to run for their life. Unlike modern alligators, forced to drag their belly along the ground, Quincana moved on straight legs.
Oh,
Besides, this prehistoric monster was almost 1.5 times longer than a Volkswagen Beetle.
Bro, what? Bro, what?
It was almost 1.5 times longer than a Volkswagen.
Bro, can you imagine that? Can you imagine seeing this crocodile thing that is longer than a vehicle? Oh, no.
Beetle. Quincana's jaws were full of numerous curved, blade-like teeth that worked like a meat grinder. Even if a person somehow managed to escape from its teeth, they would die from blood loss because their body would look like a sieve. In the meantime, Quincana would just wait until the victim became too weak to run. The only way to escape is to climb a tree. But we can't be sure there won't be any short-faced bear in it. This 3.5-meter monster unfortunately didn't eat honey. The short-faced bear was almost entirely carnivorous and needed to eat about 16 kilograms of meat a day to survive. So, one human being would be enough for 5 full meals. Although this animal's skull shape was more like a cat's one, the bear was definitely not that cute. Its fangs were massive and directed to different sides like a tiger's, combined with powerful.
Bro, I got a question for y'all, man. How many humans do you think it would take to kill a grizzly bear? Barehanded. I'm talking about like there's no weapons, there's no guns, no spears, nothing. Like what you can find in the wild, like rocks and stuff. Like how many humans do you think it will take to kill a grizzly bear? Comment down below, cause I want to hear y'all thoughts. Me personally, I don't think any amount of humans can do it. I don't. I think that they're all it's a wrap. They're all going to see Biggie and Tupac. It's a wrap. Personally, that's what I think. Y'all let me know, man.
Jaw muscles, it could bite pretty powerfully and deadly. With side teeth, it could cut not only human flesh, but also tendons with bones. Even if a person managed to escape from it, the short-faced bear was not the only hungry predator in this forest. If a human was in a place like this 3,000 years ago, they would definitely stumble upon the Thylacine, the Tasmanian wolf.
Tasmanian wolf?
It was kind of like a dog with the habits of a wolf, the striped pattern of a tiger, as well as the tail and pouch of a kangaroo. With all this terrifying sight, the Tasmanian wolf still had a mouth that could open to 120 degrees, so its bite would be excruciating. The only way to escape was to run. Thylacine had a stiff and clumsy gait that prevented it from moving really fast, especially when you consider that it jumped on its hind legs like a kangaroo. The Thylacine also tended to warn of its approach with a series of rapidly repeated throaty cough-like barks. The only one who could compete in the opening the mouth so widely contest with the Thylacine was Gorgonops. Scientists believe that the grip of the Gorgonops' jaw could be over 90 degrees. But unlike the Thylacine, Gorgonops was bigger and tall enough to look a person straight in the eye. And that's not it yet, as it could get up and run after the victim on its hind legs. In addition, Gorgonops was the first in the world to have saber-like teeth. Using them, it could bite from an ambush, and the leftovers of Gorgonops' dinner could be eaten by a meat-eater carrion that was known as Andrewsarchus. First, the fangs would cut into the meat, and then, with flat cheek teeth, it would crush the bones. But most often, it picked up the remains on the beaches along the coast. So to avoid getting caught by this scavenger, you just need to survive a fight with Gorgonops, a creature that could kill a person with even one bite. Although a quick death from the Gorgonops is not the worst option. After all, in the prehistoric jungle, some monsters love to kill slowly and especially painfully.
Bam!
In this forest, there's a territory of especially dangerous creatures which you can escape only by a miracle. For example, a paw print that looked like it was left by a Tyrannosaurus rex actually belonged to the terror bird. This almost 1.5-meter killer monster had long, powerful legs. With their help, this prehistoric creature could chase prey very quickly, approximately at the speed of a modern gazelle, that is 97 kilometers per hour. After catching up with the victim, the bird would knock it to the ground and kick it with its claws to pierce the skin. This death, unfortunately, won't be instant. With its massive, sharp beak, the bird would first cut through human flesh and then start to eat vital organs. Therefore, having noticed the terror bird, you must run away from it in zigzags. It could be a top-notch runner, but only in a straight line. And the best way to escape it is to climb a tree, because this bird couldn't really fly. But you need to be very careful, as this forest is inhabited by predators that can perfectly disguise themselves. A person may not even notice the tail of the giant snake Titanoboa.
Aw, see, man?
It's really hard to spot it at first, even though it's the size of a 5-story building. All thanks to
I'm sorry, what? This snake is the size of what? We not gonna blow past that. Like, you didn't just say what I heard you say.
the giant snake Titanoboa. It's really hard to spot it at first, even though it's the size of a 5-story building.
Bro,
all thanks
what?
to the dull camouflage color, which helps such a giant animal sneak up on prey unnoticed. Although the Titanoboa didn't have fangs, its small teeth were very sharp and curved inward, which meant it was impossible to escape from its grasp. Before eating anyone, Titanoboa would usually strangle its victim. The snake would hug the body in a ring and begin to compress the muscles so that the prey wouldn't be able to breathe. So, the victim would suffocate before the Titanoboa's grip breaks their bones. Unless someone else joins the fight, of course. For example, Titanoboa's lunch could be stolen by a feathered predator, Argentavis. The wingspan of this bird was the same length as a helicopter blade. Most likely, Argentavis would take the prey to its nest to feed its babies. They would dig their beaks into the victim, pulling it in different directions. But the thing that's even worse than being dismembered by some chicks would be meeting with a giant lizard, Megalania. It's 4 times the size of a human.
God,
Megalania would
dog!
usually wait for
Yo, man, the more and more I learn about these, like, prehistoric, freaking animals, man, bro, the more and more I'm like, I'm so happy, like, I can deal with the animals that we got now. You feel me? Like, I can deal with that. You talk about snakes that was 5 stories long, lizards that was 23 feet, like, no, bro, like, what? And he asking the question, can humans survive? Nah, bro, no, we can't. We couldn't have. There's no way. There's no way.
its prey for an ambush for a long time. Then it would attack really fast, bite through the victim's limbs, and cut the tendons with razor-sharp teeth. And when the victim could no longer run, the lizard would inject poison into the victim's neck.
What?
In the end, Megalania would rip open the prey's belly and begin to eat it alive. To escape from this awful animal, a person needs to do what they would usually do when meeting most prehistoric monsters: run. This lizard was indeed rather clumsy, but it could perfectly swim in shallow waters. Therefore, to escape Megalania, a person must swim as far from the coast as possible. But there, they might meet the real monsters of the prehistoric underwater world. The first to notice a random human in the ocean would be the underwater monster called Anomalocaris, because its stalked eyes were equipped with thousands of lenses. This prehistoric shrimp was about the size of 6 modern giant tiger shrimps. It would follow its prey by swimming through the water with its undulating fins and large fan-like tail. If it saw a person, it would grab them with its spiked paws and dig into the flesh with its square-toothed mouth to tear them apart.
Wow.
Therefore, if a person noticed Anomalocaris before it noticed them, they would have some chance to escape. But in those prehistoric waters, there were much faster monsters. For example, the huge arthropod Jackalopterus. Its eyesight was no worse than that of Anomalocaris, which means that a person wouldn't have much time to escape.
Bruh.
Jackalopterus
That looks like a goddamn scorpion in water. Like, it looks like a mixture of a scorpion and a lobster. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Like, these things are ugly.
could also move and maneuver easier
Look at-
and was indeed larger than a giant shrimp. It was the same size as a 3-seat inflatable boat, which is 2.5 meters long. But most importantly, it had some huge, powerful claws. Jackalopterus would use them to shred a person into small pieces before consuming their body. You can escape from it only by hiding in an underwater cave. But in the Paleozoic era, there were even scarier predators hunting in the ocean. For example, not just those average sharks, but sharks with a chainsaw instead of a jaw, like this Helicoprion. With its toothy whisk, it removed the scales from the fish and sawed the shells. But such a chainsaw made the shark a lousy swimmer and created a kind of turbulence in the water, thereby warning all the prey of a possible attack. But there was a monster with a lightning-fast reaction in that terrible place. It could instantly grab a human by the leg with its tentacles and drag them to the bottom. This is Camaroceras, who always hunted from ambush. It was the size of a telephone pole, and it was impossible to escape the tenacious tentacles of that giant. At its core, there was something like the mouth, a hard keratin beak. It would pierce a person, even with a bulletproof vest. A toothed tongue would then emerge from the beak to tear the soft tissue. If this most dangerous mollusk of the underwater world caught a human, that would really be the end. The only one who could defeat Camaroceras in a fight was Mosasauridae. Mosasauridae was 18 meters long, which is
59
like 3
feet!
boats. Humans are basically too small for a Mosasauridae. Therefore, the main prey of this monster would be Camaroceras. The facial bones of this giant underwater lizard were wide and powerful, attached to a massive skull. Such anatomical features allowed Mosasauridae to batter down their victims. At first, it would beat the mollusk with its muzzle, and only then did it start eating. The battle of two sea giants can create a whirlpool and drag everyone who gets too close to the bottom. So, as you can see, the chances of surviving for a human not only in the prehistoric jungle, but also in the ocean, are non-existent. By contrast, the ridge wallet would have stood the test.
59 feet, bro. Like, that is... What? Oh, no. If you guys like this video, man, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. Thank you guys for commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.